everyone, it's Mona here at Craft Clutch. I have something a little different for you today. We are going to take a field trip out of the craft room and head up to the kitchen. And I'm going to make a dish, and my husband is actually going to make a dish as well, something that his grandmother used to make. And we're going to be trying out these knives from Yum Yum Utensils. You can actually get these knives over on Amazon. I'm going to have a direct link to that in the description below. But if you stick around, you might be able to win a set. So I wanted to try these knives out real quick, and so I'm going to show you a really quick recipe for beets. My husband and I were out at the farmer's market over the weekend, and we bought up their last crop of beets. This is typically my go-to knife, the size, the shape, I don't know what it's called, but that's the one I usually go to when I'm chopping anything. And all you have to do is cut off the tail and the tops of the beets. Once you have your beets cut, then all you want to do is throw them in a pot with water, and you want to boil them for a long time. And you want to boil them until they get soft, until you can stick either a knife or a fork in there very easily and you can tell that they're soft. So beets are pretty messy. They're very red. The water in here is going to turn red. Your hands are going to turn red when you handle them later, so I would suggest wearing some even rubber gloves or something like that. And if you eat a bunch of them, you're going to pee pink or red too. So don't be alarmed the next day. Once the beets are done cooking, you want to drain the water out of there. And I put gloves on so that my fingers won't stay red forever. And then the skin peels right off. You can cut it off, but it just peels right off. So what I need to do is cut an onion. We're going to add that to the mix as well. If you like onions like I do, then use as big an onion as you want. And I like the onions to be chunky because it's going to cook down, but I like for them to be noticeable in my dishes. So I have some butter melting in the pot here. Then I'll add the onions right on in there, and they can kind of start cooking and everything while I cut the beets. You want to stir it occasionally so they don't burn, but you'll have some time. I'll have it over medium heat. I have it on high just to get it started. Then I have to cut the beets, so I'm going to get my hands red, but they're not going to be nearly as red as when I was trying to peel the skin off. So these are going to be kind of decent chunks as well. Once your onions have cooked down enough, all you need to do then is add your beets. Mix it all up, let it cook a little bit longer. You can add a little bit of salt and pepper if you want, just to taste. And that's it. And you're going to have this really great dish, and it's delicious. And if you've never had beets or fresh beets, you should definitely try this. So let it kind of all cook together, soak together, and then you're ready. I need to wash my hands again.
This is Greg Schmidt. I'm going to do an old famous family recipe from my grandmother. We have just a few ingredients, but it's really quick to cook and really fun to do. We have a burner going right now with a pot with water in it. And I'm going to put a little salt in it, ta-da, and a little olive oil, voila. And we've got the bow tie noodles here, and as soon as the water comes to a boil, we're going to be putting the noodles in there. Now, while we're cooking the noodles, or getting the noodles ready to cook, we have to start out with some onions, and we have the new knives that we're going to be using on this little cooking endeavor. These onions, by the way, as well as the cabbage that's in this bag here, came from Cody's Farm in Marengo, Illinois. So this is like farm fresh stuff. First we take off the outer layer. You can see we cut the ends off, obviously. I like to cook. I don't know. Some guys do, some guys don't. I think it's fun. We're going to go ahead and slice them somewhat thick, not real thin, because they are going to cook down. I tell you, these knives are very nice, very sharp. Very easy to work with. Ooh, that almost went a finger. Gotta be careful. Butter. We use a lot of butter in this here recipe. I'm going to get some butter melting. We get our butter in there going to start the onions. We go ahead and quarter them. It's kind of more like onion chunks than it is onion slices. And we'll get our onions in there. This makes the hands smell real nice. And we do not caramelize the onions. And we're making a big batch. So we're making the whole box of noodles, and we've got 2 kielbasa and onions and cabbage. If cabbage and kielbasa doesn't go together, I don't know what does. Outer layer of cabbage comes off. I mean, isn't that a beautiful head of cabbage? I mean, it's right off the farm. Look at that. You don't see cabbage like that in the store. Go over and check the onions. Stir them up. The water is now boiling, so I'm putting in all of the bow tie noodles. Now we can get our cabbage ready to go. Basically, we just go ahead and cut it in half. This knife looks like it'll work. It's a big head of cabbage. Quarter it. Now we can cut out the stem. Check the onions again. So I think the onions are right around where we want them. Turning it off. If you want to see the onions, they're kind of translucent in nature, not browning yet. The pan of all pans. This thing holds all of that at once. What we're going to do in here now is get our kielbasa ready, and we're going to use the smaller knife to get into that. That's 1 kielbasa, 2 kielbasa. Normally, when we cook this dish, when it's warmer outside, I'll cook the kielbasa on the grill, and that really gives the dish a really good flavor. So I'm just going to cut the kielbasas in half like this right now. Put them off to the side. You then go ahead and slice them down the middle, half them. Oh my God, look what I did. Oh, I got a thumb that's going to be a kielbasa in the pot. So we're cutting up the kielbasa about 1 to 2 inch strips. Putting it in the pan. This shrinks down a little bit too, so you don't want to cut it too small. And we cook it in the pan that we're going to cook the cabbage and onions in, because the kielbasa juices really adds flavor to the dish as well. Hear that crackling? Yeah. It almost sounds like bacon in the morning. Music to my ears. You actually want to brown them. You don't want to burn them, but you want to brown them. You think that this is a lot of cabbage, and it is, but it cooks down. So the kielbasa is just about done. I think it is. If you see how the pieces are brown, we're going to remove the kielbasa from the pan. Okay, so we got the kielbasa there. We got some nice juices going here. We put the onions back in. And then get ready to put in cabbage. This actually will cook down quite a bit. That's enough for now. We're going to use all of the cabbage, but I put this on because this will collect the steam, soften up the cabbage. These Yum knives are very nice. They have a non-slip handle on them. It's really good to work with. Noodles are done. We're going to take the noodles over to the strainer that's in the kitchen sink and strain them and let them sit for a while. So the cabbage is in the pot, the wok pot. I'm going to stir it up a little bit, get the onions off the bottom. To this, we're going to add a little bit more butter so nothing burns in there. Like I said, this dish calls for a good amount of butter. We're just about ready to add the last quarter cabbage in here. But before we do that, more butter. Ooh. Oh yes, more butter. All right, I've added the other the final quarter of the cabbage, and you can see how it's cooking down nicely, how much steam it makes. But now is the time to go ahead and introduce the kielbasa to the dish. It doesn't take up a lot of room. More juices in there. Adding the noodles the old-fashioned way by hand. Doesn't that look good? My grandmother used to make a goulash dish that she brought over from Germany, and I don't know why, but for some reason the family named it Fili Ili, and I don't know if it had any reason or it was just a funny name that they always used to call it. But that was real good. My father used to love that, and whenever we went over to my grandmother's, if it wasn't a holiday, he was always requesting Fili Ili to be made. That was like his favorite dish as a kid. We are basically done. Voila! But you can see how the noodles are starting to take a darker look, and we've got the kielbasa in there, and we've got the cabbage in there, the onions are in there, and I'm already hungry. Don't have a name for this like Fili Ili, like my dad's favorite dish when he was a kid. You know, maybe that's what we ought to do, is put this out to everyone to come up with a name for this dish. But thank you very much for putting up with me. I hope you all try it sometime. You can do this as a half dish. Kids love it. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you try it.
So I hope you like those dishes, and I hope you give them a try. They pair well together, and they really are delicious. And if you guys would like to try to win a set of knives, you can head over to my website at craftclatch.com, and I'll have all the information over there. And there will also be a direct link in the description below. As always, thank you guys so much for watching and liking and commenting and subscribing and sharing. I really appreciate it. We will definitely see you next time. In the meantime, stay safe, happy crafting. Head on over to the website and try to win yourself some knives.